Okay, good morning, everybody. It's Bernard Nomberg, of course, with another episode of Conversations with Commodores. And it is awfully early for our show today, but my guest, Reggie Ford. Good morning, Reggie.
Good morning, Bernard. How are you doing? How are you
I'm
doing?
doing great, and I really appreciate you accommodating my crazy work schedule today. So that's why we're early. That's why we're going right now. But we're going to have an awesome conversation with Reggie. We're going to learn a little bit about his story. We're going to talk about his book, which you see over his shoulder, and we're going to have a great conversation. And Reggie and I had not previously met, but we are quickly becoming very good friends.
Oh yeah.
And Reggie, again, I appreciate you making some time today and coming on the show. And as we've done for this more than a year now, is I'm trying to bring Commodores of all different decades and generations together, sharing some fond memories, some memories that may or may not still be true in our mind. I don't know if there were 140,000 people in the stadium that night or just 14,000. But anyway,
Yeah.
thank you for spending some time. And let's kick it off by you just telling folks a little bit about the present version of Reggie Ford. What are you doing these days? Where do you live? Tell us about your family.
Yeah. Present day Reggie Ford is in the same city that old Reggie Ford was in, Nashville, Tennessee, born and raised. And I went to Vandy undergrad to Vandy Business School to working here in town. So been in Nashville my entire life. Currently, I am the president of RoseCrate Wealth Management, company that I started going on about 3 years ago, and through that, working with young, affluent professionals on just making sure that their financial lives, that they feel empowered, and that they are able to manage and handle the things that come to them, especially those who come from non-traditional backgrounds and need that guide path. And and also, I'm heavily involved in the community. I'm on a number of nonprofit boards, mostly centering around education, mental health, just empowering the youth, and then also sports. And sports has been a big part of my life. I also work with professional athletes in my day job, and so I try to keep it. It's such a passion for me, so I try to keep that in everything that I do. And then, like you mentioned, my book just announced it. Just it'll release on Juneteenth, and it's been an amazing journey to write it, to reflect on it, to share the story, and yeah, that's kind of where I'm at now. Married, been married for it'll be 3 years next week,
You
and
better not forget that
I
date.
will not. I will not. 5'11", never. And so yeah, my wife, she's from here as well. Went to Hillsborough High School. We met at Vandy, and and she is now a pediatrician. She's been working her butt off for a long time to get to that point place. So yeah, and if you hear some noise, my dog is out here dropping the ball everywhere. So that's our little one right now, little Rosie. So she's
Excellent.
she's pretty big, but yeah.
Well, Reggie, thank you for sharing that part with us. There's so many places to go with all of this, but one of the things I know, you being a Nashville native and a Montgomery Bell Academy
Roll
graduate and
red.
played there, how proud were you being an NBA grad when Coach Lee was named the
Oh
head
man.
coach a few months back?
It was. I mean, the pride was definitely there. I think when you go to NBA, you have so much pride for football, for the alumni, for the current students, and hearing his name called, and then seeing, you know, all the some of the hires that he had, that it's just amazing to see that the transition from NBA to Vandy, and then doing his coaching career, and then coming back is full circle. So super proud and excited. Met him for the first time at the spring game, and had heard so many great things, and it just, you could feel the energy, and you could tell that it was real. So I'm super pumped about it.
Well, that's fantastic. And with your, obviously, I'm considerably older than you, but for the younger generation, your crew and being an MBA grad and local, that's just got to re-energize the
Mm-hmm.
local
Oh
Vanderbilt
yeah.
graduates. I really can't help but think that there's such a synergy, and I don't know how many of the alums showed up at the spring game. I was sad I couldn't make it to that, but I'm hoping there was a nice crowd, good support
Oh
uh,
yeah.
from at least the in town or the mid Tennessee alums.
Yeah, yeah. There was a good number of folks that came out and did a meet and greet on the practice field after the game. So got to meet multiple coaches, not just Clark Lee, and just seeing how welcoming this staff is, and how excited they are, and it re-energized me for sure. Just it was a different feeling than I've felt in a long time. I was proud to be an alum, and excited to support the team in any way that I can. And it's exciting. I feel like it's a new era, and all for the positive. So
It is, but with a little bit of caution,
yeah.
us old heads, if you will, who've been around the program for decades. It's I'll call it a guarded optimism.
Yeah.
We haven't played a game yet, but we got all the energy. We got all of the stuff moving in the right direction. I
True.
wish I was in Nashville from time to time or often enough to go by to see the visually see the progress. I know that they're putting out pictures and videos uh, periodically, but for me, if I was in town, I'd ride by just to see what's next, what's
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah.
And during your time period, I know you played for Johnson, Caldwell, and at the end for Franklin, and that's tough going through three different head coaches.
Yeah.
That's tough, but in the prior to Coach Mason for about 30 years there, that was kind of unfortunately the norm. Every couple of years it was a changeover of leadership. And I don't want to ask you to, well, let's compare each coach's styles and things. My question to you, Reggie, is how did you and others who came in your class, how did you guys roll with it? Because
Yeah.
you had no choice. Well, you could have quit, but you
Yeah.
had no choice. If you're going to stay with the program, stay in school, stay on the team, you had to adapt to the different coaches,
Yeah.
not only the head coach, but your position coach and
True.
the expectations. How did you guys manage doing that?
For me personally, so if you include my last couple of years of high school, I have 5 head coaches in 6 years.
Wow.
And so I got used to just the transition, and a bunch of different position coaches as well, and just got used to the different leadership styles. And it was always you. I think the one thing that kind of led my ability to adapt to those things was just respect. So having respect for whomever was in charge, and that kind of superseded everything for me. But as a group, I think it was there was always energy every time the next person stepped up. Just like we're talking right now with a change of leaders. You hope that it's not the same thing that we've gotten in the past. And we had there was some success toward the end of Johnson's era with that bowl game, and so it wasn't like, oh, it was just a terrible era with Bobby Johnson. And I absolutely love Bobby Johnson. And but Caldwell in the transition year, an interim year, that was probably the toughest year, just because there were so many unknowns and so many um, the morale on the team, I feel, was lower than I think I've seen it since, and like even after. So but it was a really tough year. But we had great leaderships from our players. That was the time where the Chris Marves, the Larry Smith, and Casey Haywards, those guys stepped up and led us to really believe in, if we couldn't believe in what the future of the program was going to look like, we could believe in what our leaders on the field were going to do.
And that's such an important perspective. You're being a walk on. You've told me previously that you were accepted and brought onto the team, and they treated you like you were every other guy on the
True.
team, and coaching you up and pumping you up. And it's not that way at a lot of other schools. At a lot of other schools, the bigger state schools, oh, you're a walk on. So why don't you just go dress in that other
Yeah.
locker room, or you don't get the certain privileges? But it didn't seem that way when you had Hayward and Larry and Marvin, those guys leading the way, leading the program,
Mm-hmm.
particularly during Caldwell's, I'm going to call it the just kind of treading water
Mm-hmm.
year. Not a
Yeah.
lot of stability until Coach Franklin came in.
Sure.
But and tell me if I'm reading that wrong, but that's just kind of the vibe that I got from you and from others.
Oh
That
yeah.
really, as you said, it's off the field leadership, so much more so than the statistics and what you see during the games. It's
Absolutely.
everything else off the field that really makes the difference, and it makes or breaks a program.
Absolutely. Like I when I first joined the team, I had a locker across from Adam Smotherman,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, I would often start my conversations because I had friends who went to Ole Miss, Tennessee, and all different SEC schools to walk on, and they were telling me these horror stories about how they were treated. They were basically laundry people and all kind of stuff. So I would start all my conversations with folks, especially somebody like Adam. Adam, Smo, I know I'm a walk on, but he's like, bro, don't ever say that again because you are a part of this family.
Mm-hmm.
And that stuff like that, it resonated all the way throughout the entire program, even with Coach Frank or with Coach Johnson at the time. I went up to him and I was drawn to the number that I had in high school, and I wanted to see if I could keep it. And I started the conversation the same way. Coach Johnson, I know I'm a walk on. He's like, nope, whatever you're about to say, that statement doesn't matter. And so whatever it is you got to ask. And I'm gonna do my best to see if we can get that number. And at the time, I think Tristan Strong was 29. That was my high school number. So he got me close. I was 26, and I ended up loving that number. So yeah, it resonated throughout. And I think even as the years went on, so many people tell me they didn't even think I was a walk-on one because of my abilities and my work ethic and things like that. But I think that was just, I think if that attitude was in that confidence, I guess that I exuded was a direct result of feeling accepted and feeling that way.
I want to pause that thought right there. We're going to come back to that in just a minute. Reggie, you being a local guy and coming to Vanderbilt, did you move on to campus? Did you live at home for a period in school? Tell us about that experience.
Yeah, I was so excited and so ready to get on campus. I before I knew I was going to be playing football, because that was initially I didn't think I was gonna. I had a lot of injuries and kind of lost the fire for it for a little bit. But I wanted to get on campus early as possible, so I signed up for dining. And so I was in the dining meetings a couple of weeks before school actually started, before moving day for the freshmen. So yeah, I lived on the Commons, maybe the second year that the Commons and the freshman dorms were around, and stayed on campus my entire time. And that was, I loved it. It was my sanctuary. During every break, fall break, mostly winter break, I was on campus just because it was an escape for me. I had younger siblings at home. I had it was close quarters at home, and I had never really had a place to myself. And so being on campus was just like refreshing. And so I stayed on campus all the time. I always had the little sign on my door, like, gonna be here during break. Like, that was me. I was there playing music, playing Madden, Call of Duty. That was me. But yeah, I loved it. And I usually had like a single dorm, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, who were some of your running around buddies, your time on the team?
Yeah, so Zach Stacy, that's my guy through and through. And
Bibb County.
Yeah.
Bibb County.
Oh yeah, Bibb, yeah. Kenny Ladler, that's my guy. Eric Samuels, and Javon Marshall, Eddie Foster. Me and Eddie, like Eddie gave me the confidence because Eddie was scholarship, and I looked at Eddie and I was like, about the same size, and he's balling out there as a freshman. I was like, okay. So it gave me so much confidence seeing Eddie running around and just balling. And then, I went to high school with Wesley Johnson, who came in that year. So Wesley, ton of folks. Warren Norman, who's just stud. And then some of the younger folks, Derek King, Jimmy Stewart, Larry Franklin, Jerron Seymour, just a ton.
So what you're saying is you had a really small, tight-knit group, and you only hung out with like two guys. Now, but I know just being in Nashville, you had to have taken them to some of your spots around town where you used to hang or enjoyed going. But here's my question to you. Did you ever come to Bibb County? Did you ever go visit some of these other guys' hometowns? Because I know Bibb County. I'm not that far from there. You blink, you're through Bibb County. You know that. I'm not picking on Zach. I don't even know Zach personally yet, but I know Bibb County a little bit.
Oh man, you got to get to know Zach. He's a great dude, but I have not been to Bibb County yet. And they just recently got hit pretty hard by the tornado earlier this year, and so I know it's been devastating down there. But I need to. I definitely need to. I've been to, let's see, Andre Howe and Carl Butler, two great friends. So I've been to their hometowns. I've been in their houses where they've grown up in Louisiana, so New Orleans and Port Allen. Been down to Vero Beach where Larry Franklin's from.
All right. So
yeah,
you've gotten around. That's good. That's good because
a little bit.
I as I said, I'm sure you took the fellas around to all your favorite places.
Yeah.
Just being a local guy, maybe some of your favorite places to eat or hang or whatever. Did you ever take them back? Now here's where you're really big dogging. Did you ever take them back to any NBA games when y'all had an off game or had some downtime?
So not much downtime, but I've definitely taken. I knew I took my freshman roommate who wasn't an athlete. I took him back to a game, and he was just so surprised about like man, you're a celebrity here. Like he's just like going around it.
Tell me if you resonate with this. I remember my freshman year, I only got to come down to my hometown, which is Dothan, in the southeast corner of Alabama. I only got to go to one game because I was redshirted my freshman year. So I proudly wore Vanderbilt stuff when I came into the stadium. I was peacocking around. But the next time I came, my sophomore year or my junior year, because my brothers were playing at this point, I didn't wear any Vanderbilt stuff. And it wasn't because I was embarrassed by any means. I was very proud of what I was doing.
True.
I just didn't feel like I needed to, and I call it peacocking around. Hey, look at me. That kind of thing.
You had been there. You act like you've been there before.
That's right. That's right. But anyway, let's get back to you come from MBA.
Yeah.
Big fish, little pond. You've had a very good high school career, so much so that you've been invited to walk on. You walk on, you make the team. Talk about those, and I always ask this question. Talk about those first weeks or days, practices when you realized we're not in NBA anymore. We're playing big time college football. And I just either got lit up by Wesley Johnson, who was my former teammate, or I tried to make a tackle and Zach just plowed, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Was there one of those moments that is just like, all right, I'm here?
Yeah. It's crazy. Before I walked on, I would watch from the rec center. I just watch practice. And I was like, okay, I can run with that guy. I can do that. And but the first time, and this was the very first practice, I think spring of that year, I had lined up corner. I was on the right side, and John Cole, who I just got coffee with, and I told him I was going to tell this story because in high school, I mostly pressed, and I never really got ran by.
Right.
And but I'm playing off on John Cole, and I'm thinking like, okay, I never got ran by, and I don't think this white boy is about to do it. He goes and he signals something to Larry, and I'm like, okay, oh shoot, let me back up a little bit. Next thing you know, he just gives me a move I've never seen in my life, and he just takes off and he catches a deep ball behind me. And I was like, okay, yeah, we working with some real deal speed and real deal talent out here. And Larry put the ball right on the money and all of that. And so that was an eye-opening experience for me. And it's like, as fast as I thought I was, or as good as I thought I was like, okay, I understand why I was getting Ivy League offers and SEC wasn't calling. But, it was more technique. It was more just things I had to learn. And again, like, I think after that play, Casey came up to me and was like, okay, this is what you did. You stopped your feet. And it's just like, oh, okay. Because I had never had to worry about that. And so, yeah, it was things like that was the first one, though. John Cole.
That we all have that moment. We all have that. All right, now I know what I got to make some changes. But it's not that your athletic ability is any less than anybody else. It's as much up here and muscle memory as anything. Yeah. But having such a great mentor like Casey there, I'm sure that was huge.
Yeah.
He had been through the wars and just knew. And still, I think, didn't he just renew his contract?
He's
with just
the Raiders.
Signed with a new team?
Yeah, with the Raiders now. So Vegas. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're waiting on that phone call, hey, bud.
I know, right? I was like, I got to come out there. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Well, guys, I'm talking with Reggie Ford. We're just reliving a little bit of his early days coming out of MBA and walking on and being brought into the team. Let's talk about the facilities for a minute. I'm not talking about what's going on now. We're all excited about all of those plans. What were your facilities like? And when I say the facilities at MBA, the field house, the weight room, and all of that.
Yeah.
And you can be as frank as you want in comparison.
Yeah.
The Vanderbilts at the time you came in.
Yeah, that was one of the biggest surprises for me. Is I thought, I guess leveling up to college and SEC at that, I thought that everything was going to be plush and nice and laid. And, at NBA, we had some of the best facilities in the city, maybe the state. And, weight room was huge. We had tons of racks for any high school. We had, our locker room was beautiful. And getting to Vandy, it was definitely eye-opening. And I was a little underwhelmed from the weight room and from the locker room, and just like, looking up at the ceiling and seeing, the stains and things like that. It was something that we wouldn't dare have at NBA. And that was shocking for me.
Reggie, did they make the changes? Did they make the upgrades while you were in school to the locker room?
Yes. So when Franklin came and got the locker room updated, even did some updates to the weight room. It was okay. You felt proud of walking in there. You felt proud of taking people around and showing them what we had, and it still wasn't in comparison to some of the other schools, but it was a step up, and it was something to be proud of.
But did it still bother the guys on the team that it wasn't the LSU's or the Alabamas or the Tennessee's facilities? Did that bother guys on the team, or were they really just happy to get the upgrades that they got? What was going through the minds or discussions at that time?
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but I think that I think once you get there, when you're being recruited and you know what you're walking into, so right. That it's not the comparables to those other schools. And then you get kind of used to it. You get comfortable with, we're going to get a couple pairs of socks. We can't just go in and grab all the socks. We can't, get all the food and all the things that we're hearing that other schools get. And so it's kind of like normalizing what had been for so many years. And I think Franklin, when the renovations happened and what the pride that he put into it, it was almost like, when you do renovations to a house and you don't want to scratch the walls for the first time, you don't want to mess up the carpet or what. Like if we walked into the building with our cleats on, he was absolutely not get out. And that was for every sport, lacrosse, soccer, like whatever. If they came in with their cleats on, if they were disrespecting or putting their feet on the paint, he was like, why aren't you proud of what we just did? It may not be the Taj Mahal, but it's nice. And so I think people loved the upgrade for sure. But it was still, I think we always had in the back of our minds that this is still, less than what our counterparts are getting.
Sure, but and this is not a criticism of years past compared to now. Football and most athletics have not been a priority for the school.
No,
It's been a constant, head butting between the departments, I'm sure.
true.
Um, I'm very pleased, at least what we're hearing from Chancellor Dearmeyer. Candace Lee has done some amazing things in a short period of time. And I know that they've got great things in store. And I think that's that renewed spirit that we're all seeing coming together, the Black and Gold Club. I love what Chris Griffin, who, by the way, happy birthday to Chris today. That's awesome.
Nice. Happy
And a former
birthday,
teammate of
Chris.
yours, that's for sure. And let's talk about on the field. You getting some PT. You getting
Yeah.
into some games. Do you remember what was your first game action?
So I'll go back to what I thought was going to be my first game action, because it's a crazy story.
Was this your
I
freshman year or sophomore year?
my sophomore year,
Okay.
and we were playing, I think, Eastern Michigan, and I had crazy enough, I had broken my hand the week of on it's in the book, you'll read about it, but it was a boxer's fracture. And I had never broken anything in my life, so I didn't know. I just thought I was in pain. So, but the day of the game, I was trying to put on my glove, and it was unbearable.
Mm-hmm.
And I again, Adam smothered me. I walk up to him, I was like, "Hey, can you just like shove this on?" He's like, "Dude, your finger is broken. Like, you need to go talk to Boz." And so I go to Boz, and I was like, "This happened," and he's like, "Well, when did this happen? How did it happen?" And we had just had a walkthrough the day before. So he's like, but he gets me all, splintered up and everything. And so I'm ready. I'm warming up. I'm ready. I'm thinking I'm going to go out on punt and punt return. And ended up not playing that game. But yeah, it was crazy because after the game, Jamie Bryan, DB coach, was just, he saw me in the training room and was just surprised. He's like, did I put you in? And just like, I missed that if I did. But my first game, I think the first game of the following season, may have been Elon, I think. And I was on kickoff, and I was on the left wing, and my job was to be the first person to set the edge, and I ain't gonna lie, if you watch that tape, I got drove to the other sideline so far.
Ooh.
And it's just because I had underestimated just how physical the actual game was going to be.
Uh-huh.
And it was crazy watching film. Everybody else was on the ball. Literally, it was 10 hats on the ball, kicker and everything. And the coach was like, "Look at this, 11 hats on them." I was like, "Yeah." I was just so far out of the frame that you couldn't even tell.
Were you just kind of slinking down in the chair?
Oh yeah, I was like, "Oh, don't show that." No, but yeah. But the next play, the next kickoff, I made my first tackle, and it was like, I had told my buddies, my non-athlete buddies, I was like, I don't know what I'll do if I make a tackle, if I get my name called. I think I'll do a backflip on the field or something like that. But I kind of expected that of myself by that time. And, I just ran over and just probably did a chest bump with somebody on the sideline. But it was a proud moment. I've been in that stadium before when I was a kid playing the All-Star game. And, it was one of my goals to always play there and hear my name called. And it was a proud moment during that game. So yeah.
That's awesome. Well, what other fond moments do you have, either in games or practices or maybe even off the field, just during your football days that really give you some good memories?
I just I really enjoyed I was scout team a lot at Corning. I got to get to know the J Mats of the world. Mm-hmm. And watching that guy work, watching him every day, and being able to compete against him. I say compete, and that's a stretch. Just being able to play on the other side of him was something remarkable. And then seeing him, go on into NFL career and things like that. That was I always cherish those moments. When we made the bowl game, Liberty Bowl down in Memphis. Mm-hmm. The song by Nelly, Champions, or championship, whatever it was called, was kind of the theme song for the bowl season that year. And every time I hear that song, it just puts me in the best mood ever. Just because it reminds me of the good times of, just being out there. And I think the weather down there was perfect during that time. It was amazing. But like part of I think the real experiences that I always cherish is hanging out with the guys outside of ball, and going on spring break in Panama City and things like that. And,
Oh, you did not.
oh
You
yeah,
did not go
yeah.
to Panama City on spring break.
I got a story, a funny one. So Derek King and I, is one of my best friends,
Uh-huh.
and we were walking around, and we had just ate at Wendy's and just stuffed ourselves, and we were bloated and feeling all. But we walked in the Club La Vila, and as soon as we walk in, these girls are running around. They're pulling people, and we're like, "What are they doing?" They're pulling guys up on the stage, and they're about to do the hard body contest or whatever. And so we're trying to hide. Like, oh, I gotta fart, I gotta burp, I gotta do all kinds of stuff. I don't want to get pulled up there. And they pull both of us up there, and we do this competition, and we end up being 2 of the 3 finalists. And there's another guy, and so we have to go out and perform, dance, whatever again. And then we do that again, and I ended up winning. So I always remind Derek that
Oh
yeah,
man,
that was me. Yeah.
please,
So
please tell me there's some photos. Please tell me.
I'm sure. So I had a friend that weekend that walked around with a video camera the entire time. I don't know where that hard drive is or where that video camera is, but I'm sure he has a lot of that
Well,
captured.
get him into. We'll pay some money for that video. Oh,
Oh
that's so
man.
funny.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, just the camaraderie, man. I mean, I still, I get like spring game. It's always good it's like a little reunion with all the guys. But yeah, that part that was awesome.
Tell me if this resonates with you. You don't talk to some of your buddies from time to time. I don't know if you're in a group text or you all get together periodically, but when you do, sometimes you can say one word or one thing, and everybody in that group knows exactly
Oh
what
yeah.
that represents from your
Oh yeah.
past.
Oh yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
you just start cracking on each other
Oh
or
yeah.
that guy who's the subject. Tell me that doesn't happen.
Oh, all the time. All the time. It's a phrase, it's all the time. And
Yeah.
yeah, I think that it'll be like that forever. I mean, obviously, like I'm sure it happens with you and your friends. So yeah, it's that's those bonds and that real friendship that, like, it can be a look, even it could just be,
That's right.
and
That's right.
yeah, so yeah.
What that is to me, that's one of the things that being on a team does for you for the rest of your life.
True.
You're with those guys 4 or 5 years, doing the same thing, fighting the same fight, trying to make your way. But the next 40 or 50 years, those are going to be your buddies. Those are going to be the reasons why you come back to reunions or get together with families. And I think that's the beauty of playing sports.
Mm-hmm.
It's not always about and it's rarely about what happens on the field.
True.
It's all those other hours and all that other time spent together. Yeah. Guys, I'm talking with Reggie Ford. He's sharing us La Vila spring break stories. He's sharing Garden J Matt. He's got all kind of good stuff we're going through, but we're going to pivot now, and you can see over Reggie's left shoulder. He recently wrote a book that we need to talk about. That's important. It's got information that most anybody can resonate or deal with, either personally or somebody in their family or close friend. Perseverance through severe dysfunction. Reggie, before we get into the meat of the book, give us the background. What led you to write this book? What was the motivation behind it?
Yeah. The book was an accident, honestly. It was a byproduct of a journal that I was keeping during rough time in my life when grandmother had been diagnosed with brain cancer, and a lot of family dysfunction, and just a lot of stuff. And was at a point where I hadn't really checked in with myself mentally until after she passed away. And so I had taken this journal that I was keeping pretty much on a daily basis, and transcribed it to my computer, and it ended up being like 60 pages and that was like 6 months worth of my life. And I'd always been better at writing my emotions and expressing myself that way. So I went through and just started to find different themes and different ways of building out what I thought was a book. And I just told my story from start to finish. And knowing, the title PTSD, Perseverance Through Severe Dysfunction, I live with PTSD, so post traumatic stress disorder from just a life lived. And but I think one thing that's always been kind of a character trait of mine is just finding a positive out of everything. And so even taking something as grim as post traumatic stress disorder and finding the positive, perseverance through severe dysfunction, and spinning that and reframing that. And so, yeah, it started off as a journal and checking in with myself. And then it turned into sharing the story with people and seeing how it did resonate, whether it was somebody who grew up like me, poor from the hood, teenage parent, incarcerated father, just, crime, drugs, gangs, stuff like that, to people who I went to high school with at NBA and people I went to school with at Vandy or worked with in the corporate world. I have a piece of my story can resonate with nearly everybody, I feel like. And so, and then when you're talking about mental health or just social justice, which are two big themes throughout, we all deal with that. That's human issues. And so, yeah, that's kind of where it started.
You're right in that every person goes through something.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what they're going through unless either A, they tell you voluntarily, or B, you inquire.
Yeah.
But what you have done, and I certainly applaud what you have done, is you've done the third step. You've put it in writing to share it with others. You've laid it out and said, here's my story.
Mm-hmm.
How can you learn from my story, from what I've gone through?
True.
And how old are you right now?
I just turned 30.
You're such an old man.
I know. I got gray hair. Check them out.
Do you really want to? Okay. For somebody in their 20s, and I know you were much younger going through this, through your childhood, teenage years, those formative years, dealing with this through your high school years and probably some in your college years and beyond, and maybe even today.
Oh, yeah.
But dealing with this and writing this in your 20s, I have great admiration for you to be able to do that. It takes such maturity. You've lived probably 3 or 4 lives.
True.
Now, I don't know if I should ask this or not, but I'm going to.
Yeah.
Are there jealousies of people in your life that have expressed to you, look at you, you don't deserve what you're getting. You don't deserve. And the reason why I'm asking you that is because I'm asking myself, how would I respond to that? It's too easy, Reggie, to bow up and get mad. Don't you criticize me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But how have you dealt with that? And I hope that's not too personal.
No.
But I think that's part of your story.
It is. It is. And I think, through writing the book, I've identified that, and at times I've had so much resentment, both in both directions in relationships in my life, because of the success and because of the achievements that I've had that people in my family or people in my life weren't able to achieve. And but writing the book and gaining this level of understanding allowed me to extend grace to people and meet them where they are and understand why they feel the way they do about me. But as hard as it is, my parents, my parents, who I love dearly, probably I have the most adversarial relationship with them than anybody else in this world. And it hurts because, I looked at all of the things that I was doing in life, all the achievements, all the accomplishments, all the hard work as a way to show that, look what I'm a product of them. and my mom raised me. My dad was in prison, but I still learned so much from him through his mistakes, through both of their mistakes. And but throughout my life, and as I continued to achieve more and do more, I felt that every accomplishment they looked at as a like it was a competition, like I was in competition with them, or that I wasn't doing enough to honor them and honor their name, and that's hard, because that's the whole purpose of me just grinding and doing what I'm doing.
It's probably a continually moving target
Mm-hmm.
of you continuing to achieve, succeed, having success, enjoying life.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what it's about. And
Yeah.
the fact that you're able to extend grace, the fact that you recognize the necessity for that speaks volumes for your maturity. Now, let's pivot a little bit away from some of this heavy stuff.
I'm good with the heavy. I'm good with the heavy.
Oh,
But
I know
yeah,
you
we
are.
can
I know
pivot.
you are. I'm talking selfishly.
Yeah.
I want to talk about some of the reaction you're getting from this book.
Yeah.
Because if anybody has watched on social media lately, Reggie knows folks. Reggie's getting the word out. And I mean this as an utmost compliment. You've had your former teammate from Bibb County, Zach Stacy, has promoted your book.
Yeah.
I think this past week you met with the mayor.
Mayor's office. I meet with the mayor in a couple hours from now. But
thank you for squeezing us in. I'm with the mayor today.
Yeah.
But you're getting the word out to people who have audiences, and they have, whether it's influence or they just have a stage to be able to promote this. That's why it's so important for what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I don't really have a question there other than it's a compliment in that you taking the step from taking your personal journals all the way to where you are now is so important. It's so impressive. But how do you do your day job and this job and still have time for my talk?
Yeah.
And all of those things. How are you doing all of that?
Technology.
No,
technology
that's
helps.
true.
Technology and process. I think one of the things that so starting my company, one of the things I really wanted to put in place was technology, outsource, and really utilize the expertise of other people to so that I could get time to do a lot of things. And also I 24 hours in a day I'm realizing isn't enough, but I utilize those as efficiently as possible. And I'm utilizing a lot of those. So my waking hours are going, and it doesn't feel like work, from the day job of working with clients about their finances to promoting the book to meeting and talking about just life with people, to teaching yoga, to it doesn't feel like work because I'm so passionate about it. And when I lay my head down, I'm exhausted, but it's like a day that I feel I feel accomplished. I feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Are you one of those types that as soon as you put your head down, you fall asleep immediately, or you have to let your brain kind of slow down a little bit over a period before you can go to bed?
Yeah, historically I've had the worst insomnia, and part of I think I wouldn't have been able to really get through and write all this book if I didn't have that insomnia, because there were days where I couldn't sleep. There were weeks, and the book opens up to a scene where I had been up for a month, maybe literally throughout that course of a month, I had maybe 3 or 4 total hours of sleep.
Wow.
And that led to a anxiety attack, emotional breakdown.
Mm-hmm.
And so no, I'm not usually the person that just falls asleep. I'm envious of that. My wife, she will lay down, she'll say, rub my back, and before I even touch her back, she's knocked out.
Oh, she's blessed with my gene.
I wish I had it.
Reggie, I'm the mayor of Nap City.
Oh, I can nap.
Mid sentence, I'm out.
I can nap. It's crazy. In the middle of the day, I can nap when I have time to. I love naps, but laying down for bed that's when all the thoughts. That's when, and I get creative too. So I want to get up and I want to start doing something. So, so
Reggie, don't clean the house at 2 a.m., man. But I tell you, I think one of the other things about playing sports teaches us, whether you're in middle school, high school, college, pros, you have to be organized because you got to get your stuff done and you got to be prioritized. Because as we all know at Vanderbilt, if you don't get those grades, you're not going to be there very long. So I suspect a lot of those lessons and a lot of those traits you developed at MBA and brought over to Vanderbilt, you're still doing as an old man of 30.
Oh yeah.
Now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That discipline, the commitment, the structure, all of that. I carry that with me every day. And that's something, they make it easier with CRMs, client relationship managers and things like that. And then just like the notes and reminders on your phone. And I operate off my calendar. Like if my calendar if it's not on my calendar, it's not in my brain.
That's right.
And so like sometimes if, I got, younger siblings and they're thinking about the now, my 14-year-old brother's thinking like right now. So he's like, hey, can you, or are you going to take me to the mall? I was like, I don't remember you telling me that. You didn't remind me that. And like, it's not in my calendar and I've got 100 other things I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
So with that, I feel bad sometimes doing that, but I have to, even put, I want lunch with my brother on this day. I want lunch with my sister on this day, and I'm blocking it off. And I block off a lot of my calendar for those that I love, because I can easily fill up my day with work and other stuff, but finding time for that important stuff.
It's so, gosh, your perspective is just right on there. I love that. And as you get older and you get busier, I have found that I even have to schedule in when I'm going to work out.
Yeah.
And because it's a lifestyle, you can either be as sedentary as you want and live a fat, happy life. No criticism for those who do. But if you want to remain in mental, physical, emotional, spiritual shape, you have to make time for those things.
Definitely.
Just like you said, I live off my calendar.
Mm-hmm.
Each Friday or the end of each week, like tomorrow, I put on my calendar for the next week which days I'm doing what.
Yep.
Yoga, weights, hiking, biking, whatever I'm doing. It gets on the calendar and our staff knows that time is preserved for that.
Yes.
Well, Reggie, we got a couple of more minutes. And if current Commodores or future Commodores come across our talk, what are you saying to those athletes, those student athletes, about their experience and what they need to cherish or to be mindful while they're going through it?
Yeah.
Because it's such a heavy, fast time.
Yeah, it is. It's fast. It's quick, and you blink and you're graduating. One thing I would say is embrace the relationships, not only with your teammates, but all over campus. Embrace those relationships and do the networking, because a part of school, the education is there, right? You can get education on YouTube, but the social network that you get, that's what people go to Harvard and pay all the money for. That's what people come to Vanderbilt and pay all the money for, is that social network and those ties. So to not get insulated in just the football bubble or just whatever sport bubble that you're in, the dorm that you live in, whatever, like really get out there and embrace those relationships, because they'll be with you. Like you said, like I know people, and I know a lot of people, and it's because I've really grown my network and embraced relationships, and done so in a genuine way. Like I genuinely like meeting people and getting to hear people's stories and things like that. And people can feel that. And so just, going in with not an agenda, but just a passion to learn somebody's story and seeing where they come from. So I definitely would say that. And then one thing that I run into often is athletes who don't know their passion outside of sport, or who can't explicitly discuss the transferable skills in the corporate world, in the working world, or whatever it may be. And to really hone in on those things, what is it when you get your binder or your iPad and you got this schedule from 6 a.m. all the way to you go to sleep, like that's a skill. And organizations are looking for things like that. Organizations are dying for the talent and skills that you have, but being able to communicate those and transfer those to other areas of your life are huge. So networking and knowing those transferable skills and implementing those.
Man, I have so enjoyed our conversation today.
Me too, definitely. Me too.
I appreciate you taking us all the way out there and bringing us back and just sharing your journey and your continued journey that you're on. I think, guys, I put the link in the show notes to Amazon. I don't know if there's a preferred provider, but
honestly, wherever you get books. So if you prefer not to use Amazon and you want to go through a bookstore, call your local bookstore and request that they order it, and my distributors can get it to them. Library as well. That actually helps. So if you get it in the bookstores, then other people who may not have seen this or may not follow me or anything like that will be able to walk past that book and see that big PTSD on there and question, what is that book about?
It's so true. Local bookstores they're dying out, and it's important to support them. We've got
Absolutely.
a couple here in Birmingham that I truly love to support.
Yeah.
But Reggie, thank you, bud, for spending some time on Conversations with Commodores.
Thank you. I'm honored. Thank you for having me. And anchor down. I'm gonna remove this background real quick before we get off of here, so you can see what I'm rocking with normally. So I'm
look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that jersey. Look at that stadium full.
Oh yeah. And then that's my high school days right there. That's Herb Street Classic right there. That poster right there that's in there. So
that's awesome. That's awesome.
But yeah, that's what I'm rocking with normally. So always represent.
Well, thank you for sharing that with us. And guys, as I try to do typically it's 7:00 on Thursday nights, but Reggie helped accommodate my schedule today, and I'm grateful for that. But we've got so many more great Commodores from all different years lined up over the upcoming weeks. Please keep coming back. Please keep commenting and sharing this out and watching it on replay. But as always, continue to be safe. I hope to see a lot of you guys in Nashville, maybe for a Vandy Boys baseball game later this spring, or definitely this fall at one of the Commodores football games. But guys, anchor down.
Anchor down.